like the sound of that phrase, Liberation Day. It reminds me of Independence Day. So President Trump would not use that phrase lightly. So liberation from what? What is he talking about? Well, it's liberation from economic and foreign policy, a mindset that has wreaked havoc on our nation for 40 years. It's liberation from the swamp that has actively worked against your interests while taking action to make other countries wealthy at the expense of you and your family. It's liberation from countries and DC politicians ripping off the US taxpayer as they get wealthy and we go to hell in a handbasket. For decades, America's economic policy benefited just the Beltway class. That's actually how we got Trump, right? Because Trump was like, wait a second, I, as a rich elitist myself, can see that the system's been rigged to benefit me, and I want to be your champion because you're the one that's been screwed by this. And the result, of course, is that America's economic policy that's been rigged ushered in social degradation too, and economic devastation all across the country. We have lost in our country millions of jobs. And because of that, men, after they have lost their job, have lost their purpose. And they've sought relief in the form of self-destruction, drugs, wayward lifestyles. As a result of this crisis among men, because of the economic crisis, communities across our nation have suffered. Families have broken apart, and countless mothers and fathers have had to bury loved ones far too soon. Yes, I'm talking about the opioid crisis. And what has DC's response been? Well, they've told the forgotten man that life is good because now we have cheap iPhones. That'll make up for your dead son. You got a cheap iPhone. DC and those who run it in both parties have allowed the crisis on our southern border. They have created the crisis on our southern border by allowing the border to be open for years. And it's not just a matter of flooding our system with too many people. It's a matter of flooding our country with drugs that are killing our people. And they've continued to enact economic policies, whether it's trade deals or foreign aid or regulations that benefit everyone else, the entire world, but actually exacerbate our own issues. DC has ignored the plight of you for decades until today, Liberation Day. Now President Trump is using leverage to put an end to economic decline. Fentanyl coming over our border. How's this going to happen? Let me tell you how it's going to happen. President Trump is now enacting tariffs and crafting his entire economic agenda with one goal in mind. Will this economic policy help the average American have a prosperous, purpose-filled life? Or will it continue to benefit the well-to-do people, politicians, and big company owners and foreign lands while U.S. citizens are given the cold shoulder? Tariffs, remember, they're a means. They're not the end. They're mostly designed to restore quality of life and dignity and purpose for Americans. We have a crisis of purpose in our country. They're designed to counter the failures of unchecked free trade. The benefits are already rolling in, by the way, as companies open plants in the United States, countries drop tariffs, and step up to impede the flow of fentanyl into the U.S. Take Israel, for example. They, as of today, have dropped all tariffs preemptively. Now, somebody might say, well, why did Israel, our ally, even have a tariff on us? Because they could. Listen to what President Trump said. He's been on tariffs and on understanding exactly what's happening to our society as a result of unchecked free trade for a long time. This is what he said a few years ago about Japan. Take a listen.
Our allies have taken advantage of us more so than our enemies. Our allies are the European Union. We have a trade deficit of $300 billion with the European Union. Our allies are Japan. You know, Abe was a very good friend of mine. He was a great guy, great. And I said to him in Japan, he was assassinated, and he was a great man. He really was. I didn't see too many like him. And he got very sick, and he had to take off. And then he was actually making a comeback. He was going to make a comeback, and he would have won easily. But he was a great gentleman, handsome, wonderful man, respected by everybody. And I went to him, and I said, Shinzo, we have to talk. What? Trade. And he goes, I'll never forget it. I know. I said, what do you know? I knew you'd come to me. Why do you say that? Because I can't believe, I wouldn't tell the story if he was alive, actually. He said, I can't believe how many years it's been that nobody even negotiated with us in America. I said, Shinzo, you have to pay for your cars. You're sending millions of cars. You don't accept a car from us. You don't have one car that you accept, and yet we're selling 3 million, 4 million of your cars. I said, Shinzo, on agriculture, you won't even accept our agriculture. And I renegotiated the whole trade deal from a little disadvantage because I was stuck with a bad deal. I mean, we have trade deals that were so bad that I said, who are the people that are doing it? They're either very stupid or they're getting paid off, okay? It's one or the other. It's very simple.
They're either very stupid or they're getting paid off. Or secret option number 3, both. Both. They're stupid and they're getting paid off. But here's the thing. President Trump understands exactly what's happening to the American economy and the impact that these type of trade deals where Americans are taken advantage of, the impact that that has on our day-to-day life. Ask yourself why Trump was the first president in 40 years to start using economic policy as leverage to benefit you, not the elite class. And the answer to that question is kind of depressing. The answer to that question is maybe no other president in our lifetime has actually served us, actually cared about you. Well, the beauty of this is Trump understands how powerful these tariffs are. He can revoke them at any time. He can implement them at any time. He can even use them to prevent war. And listen to this, for example.
A tariff is a beautiful thing, but it's got a bad image. It needs you to fix the image. A tariff, we stop wars with tariffs. I mean, I had cases where I told a country they were being very aggressive with another country, had nothing to do with us. I just don't like seeing dead people, okay? And they were going to go to war, and I said, if you go to war, and they do a lot of business with the United States, I'm putting 100% tariff on everything you do, any business you do with us. No, 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 this has nothing to do. I said, it does have. I stopped a war. Will I get Nobel Prizes? Never. I mean, look what we did with the Abraham Accords, how good that was. But you can stop wars with tariffs.
You can stop wars with tariffs. So also, an interesting point, those who criticize tariffs, maybe they're also in the camp, you can look at each individual person, of profiting from forever wars. They don't want a tool that can so easily be used to stop a war that they want. Here's the thing. In negotiating, you can use carrots and you can use sticks. Trump uses both. Tariffs are the biggest stick that he has. So what's the carrot here? Well, remember, if companies don't want to pay tariffs, all they have to do is open a shop in America. America's open for business, and the American people will be the ones profiting.